morning. How you doing, everybody? Happy Monday. On the Morning Night Live, obviously it's Metal Monday, as you can tell by the music in the background. That's still pretty loud, isn't it? Well, it's Metal Monday. How can you play it anything but loud? Good, excuse me, morning. Oh, what hell? How you doing, everybody? Happy Monday. Whoa, what? On the Morning Night Live. There, let's turn that off. I didn't realize it was double playing. Anyway, over the weekend, a whole lot of talk about the person in the thumbnail. Eliza Moreland, Eliza Sipe, Eliza Cuts, Eliza, what's the other one? Something, anyway, Eliza Bleu. And, you know, I don't know why this is a story so much, it is much about her. Yes, it's about her because she's the main subject. But the problem is, it's not really about that. But it ends up being about her because she's the one who's getting people even temporarily deplatformed over some nonsense. And so that's the problem. And so I got an update on the nonsense part, on the deplatforming part, because a person that she name dropped recently just happens to be the head of trust and safety at Twitter. And she made a post this weekend that was very, very curious, but also just seemed to be just making excuses for why her friend gets so much power. So that's what we're going to talk about during the show today, although there's a lot of news from the weekend, some that I'm going to talk about, some that I'm going to skip. But we'll get to that right after the intro. Johnny, you ready? Play the intro. After this.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
And that would be me. And here's the face that's actually doing the show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. And welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where sometimes you make mistakes and they blow up way more than you probably expected. Yes. The whole weekend, boy, I tell you what, the whole weekend we were talking about Eliza Bleu. I just realized I need to update the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor because there is no Superstar sponsor right now. So let's fix that. So anyway, that was everybody that I interact with on the internet, on Twitter and YouTube, whatever, had that as one of their subjects this weekend. So I'm finally going to breach it since I didn't do the stream Friday. I was going to, but it just got too crazy. Yes, it is very much a Jack Murphy kind of thing. It's I don't know. It's a Strife sound effect on steroids, but because every little action gains another reaction, and it's crazy. It's just crazy. So we'll get to that, and also there's a few other things in the news. There's things that I'm going to can talk about, and a couple that I'm not going to talk about. For example, the Project Veritas thing that dropped last week that a lot of people are talking about seems to be it's such a touchy subject that Project Veritas had a video taken down. That video about the Pfizer guy that was honeypotted into telling some things that may or may not be true. Problem is that they took down the Project Veritas video for medical misinformation and gave them a strike, and they can't upload for a week. Very interesting, because nobody from Project Veritas made any claims. The person from Pfizer made the claims. It's straight from the horse's mouth if you haven't taken too much horse paste. So anyway, that's interesting, and I'd love to talk about it, but I'm gonna probably save that. I might have to do one of those Rumble exclusives where you can actually talk about stuff like that. Can't do it here, but anyway. So, but there's other stuff to talk about. There's the issue in Memphis where the 5 police officers seem to have lost their damn minds and probably will be in jail sometime in the near future. But there's a whole lot of the whole lot of activity, let's just put it that way, activity in cities around the country regarding that in Joe Biden's America. I know that there's people out there saying, oh, this is somehow, of course, somebody tried to tie that to Trump. And I just want to remind people that Donald Trump is not the president of the United States. So this is Joe Biden's America now, and now the brothers, those people who probably voted for Joe Biden, beat the hell out of a suspect that in a manner that is very un-American, but still somehow, some way. Yes, that's what people are saying. So anyway, before we get into anything, though, let's say good morning. So, good morning on the Rumble side of the ledger. We see Avocados Dabbly, who gets the bell and is just here first. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Simon Wolfwood, Furry Kitten, and TC are all over on Rumble. And there's a few more people over in the Rumble. If you're on Rumble, I see it says there's 10 watching over there. Just say hi. Just put a hi in the chat. Let me know that you dropped in on the Rumble side. I always like to see that side grow. On the YouTube side, first in the chat today, I believe also was Mr. Avocados Diabli, so you get the bell over there too. Doing double duty. Also, good morning to Tyrannus Alexandrius, Tremere Lich, Ty Alexander, good morning, sir. Also, hello, Somnambule Nation, TC, Trippy Liberty, Mike Savage, Blarg, Unacceptable Views. Also, let's see, as I scroll down, I see Attack Alpacas in the house. And is that it? Neon Leon's here. Good morning, Simon Wolfwood, Lord Stanhope, HP Lovecraft. Hello. So good morning too. Is that everybody? Brad Young's in the house. Nice to see you, Brad. And Maddie's in the house. Rockhopper, friend from down under, is in here early in the morning over there. Good morning, Rotten Corpse and James Colley. What's up? And Natasha's here. What's up, Natasha? How you doing? From Hopetep Nation. Rod Lyons in the house. I see ya. And that looks like everybody so far. That's a good start. Do me a favor though, because that's still, we need more people here. Now, you are the people who make the show work. And if you'd be so kind, share this stream out. Share the stream out with everyone. Oh, a bunch of more people just popped in, it looks like. They're not in the chat yet, but they'll get here. Can I see you, damn webcam? I don't know what that means. I see you on the list here. Anyway, why is this thing? Oh my gosh, this thing's on standby going back like 20 minutes. I don't understand that. So anyway, share the stream. That's the biggest thing you can do. But sometime during the show, if you like what we do, hit the like button. Also, if you want to sponsor the show in more substantial ways, you can do that at pdognight.live. Those are the best super chats. Hello, Damien Gershwin. If you can certainly do YouTube super chats too, if you don't mind giving Susan 30%. But if you want your hard-earned dollars to go to where you intend them, pdognight.live is the best place, because not only can you get the more of the percentage goes to the person you're giving them to, but also no matter how much you give, you can put a nice long message in there. Okay, the same size message, whether it's $2 or $2,000. It just doesn't matter. You get to put in what you get to put in. AWOL's in the house. Shrapnel's in the house. Good morning to y'all too. So let's get into some news. Then we'll get into the main subject. Then I'll have some more news. It's just going to be one of those days. I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. Although this is by far not the comprehensive list. I could have opened 70 to 80 tabs today, but I only got 90 minutes. Oh, programming note. 1 week from Friday, we're going to be celebrating the 1,000th episode of the Morning Night Live. Now, I don't know how we're going to do it because I average maybe 40 people in a stream, maybe 50. Well, if you go through both sides, maybe 50. But here's my goal for my 1,000th stream. I want 1,000 people in the watching the show. So I'm gonna have. Well, I do have a bunch of guests coming, so that'll help. But look, I got to start promoting this. So we're looking for 1,000 people on the show 1,000. I'm doing my work. I'm doing some work behind the scenes to see if we can make that happen. Since we didn't get the 10,000 subs, I don't know if that was a silly idea or not, but certainly we've increased the number of subs by about 400 over the time that I started Project 10,000. I'd be happy to get another 1,000 subs on both YouTube and Rumble. So we'll work on that. But a week from Friday, 1,000 show. We're going to have guests here all day. It's going to be probably an all-day stream. I'm not stopping at my normal time. I actually have rescheduled what I normally do during the daytime. Well, I'm just not doing it. Let's put it that way. And I'm going to be here pretty much the whole day. I'm going to start at the normal 10 o'clock Eastern, probably go till about 6 o'clock Eastern, maybe, something like that. And we're going to have different people popping in and out all day. And I might even do an open mic section during that show, but it'll be by invitation only. I pretty much only people in the chat I'll send out links to people within the chat if they are requested. So anyway, looking very much forward to that. It's been 4 years in the making to get to 1,000 shows. And I'm really looking forward to it. I have a bunch of people who are going to pop in that day. So look forward to that. Also, sometime this week, I have rescheduled Shukri Abdurrahman, who was supposed to be here last week. Unfortunately, she got into a car accident. And fortunately, it was a pretty bad accident. And one of her kids was injured and she was injured. But they're all fine now. Probably Wednesday I have that rescheduled. Don't have any other guests at this point scheduled this week, but also I'm looking for a few next week. If you have anyone that you want to see on here, I'm looking at some of the people who are talking about this Eliza Bleu situation. We might get a few of those in here too. But anyway, that's what the program's going to look like. All right, let's get into some news because I am already rambling too much. Now this one I just saw. I'm gonna skip that. Lori Lightfoot dancing in her city while the Chicago burns. Anyway, now a couple weeks ago, we saw this Biden official talking about gas stoves, and everyone went in an uproar about it. Now, look, and I made a joke about it that you can take my gas stove out of my cold dishpan hands, but apparently the Richard Trumka, the guy who pushed the gas stove ban, said the anger was misdirected. Now, this is interesting. This is just from Fox News. Richard Trumka reiterated how important it was for the public to know about health risks allegedly caused by gas stoves. And I'm like, are you serious? Wait, why is someone talking from Hayward, Wisconsin? Oh, I have a friend who lives in Hayward, Wisconsin. That's the location of the annual Birkebeiner cross-country skiing race. And a friend of mine from high school used to own a bed and breakfast there, but she still lives there. Anyway, U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commissioner Richard Trumka pushed back, Richard Trumka Sr. was the AFL-CIO guy, pushed back against the firestorm. His comments about banning gas stoves created, calling the anger misdirected. When you learn upsetting new information about something you've been around for a long time, maybe your whole life. Well, I've been around it my whole life. Why haven't those terrible health hazards killed me yet? He says, you can never predict people's reactions, he said, and there's going to be justifiable anger, and sometimes it's misdirected, he told the Washington Post. Trumka was appointed by President Biden in 2021, and he is the son of labor union leader Richard Trumka, the senior one, longtime president of the AFL-CIO. The Biden official admitted to the paper that his work and experience has, as a father, made him paranoid about everyday hazards. It's very easy to see how everyday things can be hazardous, Trumka said to the outlet, adding later, I am much more paranoid than the average person. Well, Mr. Trumka, you are correct. You are much more paranoid than the average person, seeing as gas stoves have been around, about 100 years. And, we haven't, they certainly haven't been a subject of great consternation and death, so to speak. Anyway, he said that he hoped the national debate over gas stoves caused more people to be aware of how their indoor appliances could be causing health risks due to pollution. As I said, for 100+ years, people have information that can make choices for themselves at this point. Oh, now wait a minute. That seems to be a loaded sentence. People have that information and can make choices for themselves at this point? Mr. Trumka, are you saying they're not going to be able to make choices for themselves at a point in the future? And he said, but he told the paper that that's fantastic, that he can make those choices. And then they went into the health risks. Anyway, they've been backtracking on this, and then there's been a lot of people who poo-poo or make fun of people who got angry about the story. But, I don't know. Why would the anger be misdirected? I mean, if you said it, let's put it this way. You smelt it, you dealt it, and you get blamed for it. I know that's a weird analogy, but, kind of get it? Gas, and you smelt it. Okay, never mind. That's a child's joke. All right. Other news, apparently anonymous, I got that from Gunfox. I don't know if Gunfox is here yet, but I got these off the Discord. By the way, join the Discord server. There'll probably be something in the chat that'll show up that says join the Discord server. There's always, and look, you can post news stories in there. I try to look there quite often. Hello, Will Salam. Will Salam, how you doing? Rest in peace. What are we resting in peace? Okay, anyway, anonymous Chinese donors funneled money into Biden Penn Center since Biden took office in January 2021, according to a report. Wait a minute. Is that the place where he used to have an office and there was a closet where they found some stuff in there that probably shouldn't have been in there? It was probably from the time when he was vice president, which is over 6 years ago. Anyway, recent reports have proven that an undisclosed number of unnamed Chinese sources,
China is asshole,
have poured a staggering $14 million into the D.C. think tank where the first batch of top secret documents are found. Oh, well, isn't that special? Shockingly, a new investigation has found that over $14 million has been donated to the Penn Biden Center. Now, again, a think tank with Joe Biden's name on it. Ooh, boy, that's interesting. Anyway, where the first batch of classified documents found by Biden's personal attorneys, and they were promptly turned in. Yes, they were good boys and turned them in right away. The documents were found mixed in with the paperwork of the president's deceased son's Beau's funeral papers. What? Now, that's the first time I'd heard that little tidbit. Hey, Papa Hotep, how you doing? Nice to see you. The University of Pennsylvania, which runs the Penn Biden Center in Washington, D.C., has received $51 million in foreign funding, including $14 million from unnamed contributors in China and Hong Kong, and $2.4 million from unnamed contributors in Saudi Arabia And according to the Department of Education records reviewed by the Washington Free Beacon, the school received $1 million from a source in the Cayman Islands in June to fund its Penn Wharton China program, according to the Beacon report, which we have linked here for you to read in its entirety. In fact, I will link it in the links that I put in the end of the show. Is that the article? Yes, it is, right there. By the way, if you're new here or if you just, I see some names that I haven't seen for a while, I now put every article, link, video, tweet, whatever, into a single web page called a one-tab link. I put it in the second paragraph of the description of this video on both Rumble and on YouTube. At the end of the show during the outro, I update that, and you can just click the link, and everything we've done during that today will be on a single page. So you can find it easier if you do blogging or do your own videos and want to find the articles that we talk about. They will be in the description on a single one page. So anyway, oh, good morning, Zach Osborne, too. Nice to see you, man. So anyway, perhaps more telling is that although the center has been open for many years, the Chinese money didn't start flowing until February of 2021, literally 2 weeks after Joe Biden was sworn in as the 46th president of the United States. You know, it's kind of like, okay, so remember when it wasn't when Hillary Clinton was running for president. Well, it was when she was running for president. Every time Hillary Clinton starts running for president, the Clinton Foundation started getting lots and lots of money. And then when she lost the election to Donald John Trump, those donations kind of dried up a little bit. I mean, they were still sucking in money like two Hoovers and a Dyson, but the donations went way down relatively. So anyway, but the Chinese didn't start dropping dimes into the fund until February 2021 after Biden was sworn in as president of the United States. Wow. Something financially, it's not necessarily financially advantageous to Biden himself per se, but it's just fascinating how, all of a sudden they're just giving money and putting money in his coffers of that particular think tank with his name on it. Interesting. All told, the money donated so far throughout the Biden presidency equals $61 million total amount that Chinese donors have given up between the years of 2017 and 2020, according to previous Free Beacon reporting. Well, wait a minute. So they didn't just start putting money in there, but they have put $14 million into this place since he became president. So make of that what you will. There's a lot more to this story, but I'm going to skip it. But I do have the Free Beacon story also. It'll be in the links. New funding comes under fire for classified docs found at the think tank. So, yeah, I don't know what to make of that. How about you? Anybody want to talk about that one? Clinton Foundation folded like a piece of paper. Yeah, like origami, according to TC and Lord Stanhope. Yeah, it really, their donations dropped off dramatically after she lost the race. And so now she has to go out and give speeches about how, election matters that we can't talk about on YouTube anymore. Now, about this, you've all seen you may or may not have seen the videos, but this just horrific event that happened in Memphis, the Memphis police officers who beat the gentleman to death after a traffic stop. Well, some news this morning, or at least over the weekend, apparently Memphis Police Department is going to make some major changes following the death of Tyre Nichols. The Memphis Police Department announced over the weekend that it was disbanding an important anti-crime task force in the wake of the death of Tyre Nichols. Nichols died on January 10th, 3 days after Memphis police pulled him over in a traffic stop for reckless driving near Range Roads and Ross Road in Memphis. Police said that during the stop, confrontation occurred. Well, the confrontation was 5 brothers beating another brother's ass until he could no longer until he succumbed to his injuries. So, at which point Nichols ran away from police on foot as they attempted to apprehend him. Video of the incident was released last night by law enforcement. Memphis Police Department said Saturday night that it was ending the Scorpion Unit street crimes operations to restore peace in our neighborhoods. That's quite the acronym. After officials met with Chief Saralyn C.J. Davis to discuss recent events. In the process of listening intently to the family of Tyre Nichols, community leaders, and the uninvolved officers who have done quality work in their assignments, it is in the best interest to all to permanently deactivate the Scorpion Unit. The statement said officers currently assigned to the unit agree unreservedly with this next step. While the heinous actions of a few cast a cloud of dishonor on the Scorpion, it is imperative that we, the Memphis Police Department, take proactive steps in the healing process for all impacted. And they add, the Memphis Police Department remains committed to serving our community and taking every measure possible to rebuild that trust that has been negatively affected by the death of Mr. Tyre Nichols. Affected by the police beating his ass to death. Officers okay, wait a minute. I'm going to butcher some names here. I don't do well with I'm not going to say it. Officers Tadarius Bean, Demetrius Haley, Emmett Martin III, Desmond Mills Jr., and Justin Smith have all been charged with 2 counts of official misconduct. Official misconduct? Oh, wait a minute. Local media reported with 1 count of official oppression, second-degree murder, aggravated assault act in concert, and 2 counts of aggravated kidnapping. Here's, I guess maybe, I'm sure there's people out there probably screaming for first-degree murder. And you watch that shit, and it really looks like they wanted. Well, they wanted to beat the shit out of him. I don't know if they wanted to murder him. I don't think they were intending to, but boy, they beat the brakes off the brother, and he died as a result of the injuries. And I hope they all, go to jail. They need to all go to jail. So, and obviously there was much activity in cities around the country over the weekend, and I just, a lot of property damage. I hope that not a whole lot of people were hurt. I kind of stayed away from it. I've spent my weekend watching basketball and football. So anyway, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, first sponsor of the day. And by the way, you are the Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. We're dropping a big bullet in the tip jar. Jimmy Das says the Chinese dealing in money and how far am I into the show? Can I say this yet? I'm a half hour in. I can say it. The Chinese dealing in money and pussy, Swalwell. Our politicians are, for lack of a better word, fooked. I said it in the anyway. In all seriousness, we know they are easily bought and paid for. Yeah, I gotta tell you, the politicians, Joe Biden. Again, we always have to remember 10% for the big guy. So, anyway, also James Colley dropping a Lincoln in the tip jar. Thank you, sir. Who says, "Sir, you are picking on an old man. This is just a right-wing talking points. The real issues, we'll let you know once Joe gets to it." Yeah. There was a funny picture of Joe kind of looking down at his shoes like Jill was scolding him, with Jill standing him right in front of him. I don't know if you saw that picture over the weekend, but that was weird. So we're going to hear that. I haven't heard the music for this one yet, but it'll just pop up anytime now. All right, let's move on. Oh, and now speaking of sports ball, now I don't normally talk about football or sports that much on the show unless there's some kind of political or something angle to it, but this one is not a political angle. This is a it's kind of a feel-good story that I just popped up on my screen this morning. Donna Kelsey. Donna Kelsey. You know who Donna Kelsey is? Well, Donna Kelsey is the mother of two professional football players who are going to play against each other in the Super Bowl. Now, the one Kelsey brother, he threw out some rock language during the post-game celebration last night, which I thought was pretty funny. I didn't realize this far behind. Is there more people in here? Bishop's here in the house. What's up, Bishop? How you doing? I see. I just said hi to Shrapnel. I don't want to miss anybody. So, here's some talk about let's get back. I'm going to read some of these chats before I get into the Donna Kelsey. Let me come back to this. We'll come back to it because I hadn't scrolled down far enough. So, Avocado said they murdered him. They were holding him up while he was half unconscious. Yeah, no, they absolutely. But here's the thing, from a legal standpoint, I don't know if you can call that. Well, they call it first-degree murder for. No, they didn't call it first-degree murder for Derek Chauvin, did they? I mean, I think this was far, far worse than Derek Chauvin's case, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, look, Derek Chauvin was holding him on the ground after he requested to be on the ground. It's not like he threw him to the ground and whatever. And part of their protocol, as far as a suspect, if they're holding him on the ground. Now, Derek Chauvin's situational awareness was crap, and he should absolutely go to prison for at least the second-degree charge. But these guys looked like they were trying to kill the dude. They kept holding him up and beating the crap out of him. It was terrible. I mean, I don't even want to show it. I know people are showing on YouTube, but some have gotten restricted, their videos restricted for that, and I'm not going to do it. But yeah, well, they held him up when he was half unconscious. They were still beating him. Yeah, it was awful. Thank God those 5 cops were only white adjacent and not actually white. Apparently they suffer from internalized whiteness too. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people talking about how this proves the racism of cops, and I understand the argument, but please, although I would have been interesting if the cops were white in this case, or if the victim were white in this case, how this would play. Now, if it was white in this case, well, there'd be, I think, there's already plenty of protests around the country with lots of property damage and shit. But boy, if they had been white, I'm sure it would have been worse. But it would have also been interesting if it was a white victim. I don't think you'd heard about it, other than in Memphis. But anyway, first degree means they woke up in the morning wishing to murder a dude. Second degree means they went into the situation looking to murder the dude. Well, second degree too can be like in Chauvin's case, when they call it second degree something unintentional or whatever. In Minnesota, it's a little bit different charge. There's a and certainly Chauvin absolutely was guilty of manslaughter. This is just questions on the higher charges. So at least as far as I'm concerned. Now, some people are like, no, and people, if you ask someone like Maxine Waters, she would have said, oh, it's first degree murder. He went in there, they wanted to murder a kid. They wanted to murder somebody. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, wow. There's a whole lot of comments on this. Just those charges can get them life in prison as opposed to the death penalty, which that state has. True. Oh, they will cut a deal and blame some white person at the station. Mark Furman, like tape will come out and other hands will roll in the end. Heads. I don't know how that would happen. James Colley, this is why you don't make bets with police, because when they say, we'll flip you for it, double or nothing, they flip you. That's... I got you, James. So the Manning situation. Oh, well, did they play against each other in a Super Bowl? I don't think they played against each other, did they? Or did they? Oh yeah, I think they did. This says Kelsey becomes the first mother to have 2 sons play against each other in the Super Bowl. We'll get to Looked exactly like a gang beatdown. Yeah, it sure did. Hello, man, Squatch, and also good morning. Why are you so angry? Yeah, it was messed up. Yeah, fuck that Floyd overdose. Chauvin did not kill him. You know, I am in that. I look, AWOL. I clearly believe that the fentanyl, as the medical examiner first said, was the main factor in George Floyd's death. And that's why I don't believe that the murder charge, there was a murder charge and there was one that in most states we call it manslaughter, but I think they call it third degree here. That's why I don't think the two higher charges should have been guilty verdicts. But the third charge absolutely was guilty verdict, should have been a guilty verdict because in that situation, the officer on top of the suspect is the one who needs to have the situational awareness. The ones protecting him and the other two officers who were in training probably weren't responsible for the guy's death, but at the very least, had he had the situational awareness to realize that the person underneath him was I'll just say dying, the responsibility of that officer is to make sure that he doesn't die so that he can go and be get into the justice system and probably, whatever, charged or whatever. That let the justice system do it and not the person on top of him as he dies. So I think Chauvin was overcharged, but the third charge was absolutely appropriate based on how Minnesota law, at least as I heard it during the trial, states it. And I think the jury in that case, which that by the way, that the Minnesota verdicts are under appeal right now. They're going to appeal the Minnesota verdicts, which I think if they appeal those verdicts, first of all, one of the charges, there are three charges. One of the charges the Supreme Court has already determined that would not apply in that case because there was not a multitude of people. One of the charges was when multiple people do something, and it's very specific in the law. Probably will get overturned. I think it was second degree murder or depraved something murder. That probably, that's the one I think could be overturned too. I don't think the third degree that's the equivalent of manslaughter. I don't think that's going to be overturned. Just my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. My nickname's Lawyer Dog, but I'm not a lawyer. So who knows? All right, let's move on. Back to this story of the Super Bowl. Two higher charges were purely political show. Yeah, and I think the jury, I think that was just the change of venue probably should have been granted. The jury had to walk through the protests every day. They didn't sequester the jury even. And so, I think that jury done anything less, there would have been more riots, but whatever. Yeah, Eli Manning played Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, but never Peyton. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, let's talk about these brothers, because which I need to get through this real quick. Get to the main topic. Donna Kelce becomes the first mother to have two sons play against each other in the Super Bowl. Hey, that's a pretty amazing athletic family when you have brothers who both play professional sports. But in this case, this is wild. Seeing your children succeed is what every parent wants, but for Donna Kelce, the success of both her sons will provide a conflict of interest. Donna's two sons, Jason and Travis, are stars in the NFL, both stalwarts for the respective Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs. And on Sunday, the whole Kelce family had a day to remember as the Eagles and the Chiefs both booked their tickets to the Super Bowl in Arizona, where they will face off against each other for the Lombardi Trophy. When they do, Donna will officially become the first mother to have two sons play against each other in the Super Bowl, according to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. She commemorated her sons reaching the Super Bowl by tweeting #Heights Highland UC Bearcat Super Bowl. Apparently, they both went to the University of Cincinnati. and clearly is wherever they're from. A reference to both sons attending Cleveland Heights High School and the University of Cincinnati. Although they won't actually take the field at the same time as they both play on offense, Jason is an all-pro center and Travis is an all-pro tight end. The game will likely prove difficult to watch for Donna, as each of her sons will look to claim their second career Super Bowl. Both played vital parts in their teams reaching the 2022 season finale. Jason, a rock for the Eagles in their dominant victory over the San Francisco 49ers in the NFC Championship, and Travis finishing with 7 catches for 78 yards and a touchdown against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's anyway, you got the point. She's going to be the first to do it, and I think that's a cool feel-good story of the year. Except, boy, oh boy, I watched these games, and boy, did the officiating look crazy. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles blew out. Whoever the hell are they playing? I don't even remember they were playing. It was so bad. I just said it, too. Who the hell were the Philly playing? Oh, San Francisco, the 49ers. Yeah, that was an ugly game. But the second game, the Chiefs and Bengals, that was wild. I mean, it was like, now, it's funny because people were complaining about the refs the whole time. For example, the one thing though, in the Philly game, the first touchdown, my wife and I were watching that game, and both of us said at the exact same time, that spectacular one-handed catch, remember that? If you didn't watch that? It wasn't a catch. We saw it like first replay. I'm like, oh, that wasn't a catch. I'm sure they'll review that. But anyway, those of you who are not into American football, I apologize. And then the Chiefs game, the end of the game, I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. The run by the quarterback, running out of bounds. The guy hits him out of bounds to get another 15 yards. They kick a field goal to win it. That was a terrible ending. And I know the guy who caught that penalty probably is in a deep depression right now. But enough about American football. Let's move on. Wait a minute. I kind of skipped something. So we were talking about the situation in Memphis, and LeBron James kind of stepped in it, talking about that over the weekend, and not the normal way he does it, where he says something dumb, which is kind of par for the course. Good morning, Jaeger Pony, by the way, my favorite Canadian. LeBron James got a little flack over the weekend because of the words, "We are our own worst enemy." And he got accused of blaming black people for Tyre Nichols' death. NBA basketball icon LeBron James has taken a beating on social media after saying black people are our own worst enemy in response to the police brutality incident that led to the death of Tyre Nichols. Last week, the nation came to a standstill when released footage showed 5 black Memphis police officers brutally beating Tyre Nichols during an arrest, which subsequently led to his death. And LeBron James, who had spent the latter half of his career pushing social justice messages regarding race, used the moments to say that, well, black people are our own worst enemy. Initially, James responded to a tweet from MSNBC analyst Brittany Cunningham, which said that policing is a tool of systemic racism, no matter the race of the officers. So it was because these 5 black police officers beat this young black man to death, that was racism. Yeah, I understand what they're trying to say. I still don't agree with it. Initially, James responded to a tweet quote, what's really clear about some of the reaction to the murder of Tyre Nichols is that we failed to fully understand race and its construction as a systemic tool. The entire system of policing sees the black body as a problem no matter who pulls the trigger, said Cunningham. And then LeBron responded by tweeting this out. "We are our own worst enemy." Now, clearly. And then, oh boy. So, first of all, I think he meant worst. But also when she tweeted that thing about the systemic this and that, he put 2 factual. Couldn't you just say too true? I don't know. We are our own worst enemy. So some people were criticizing him. In a roundabout way, you're regurgitating white supremacist talking points, as well as absolving systemic racism and fostering a culture that encourages this behavior. Wait a minute. Which behavior? Running from the police? I'm not blaming Tyre Nichols for his own death. Certainly, even if he did run from police, even if he did run from the police, that is not license for the police to kill him, beat his ass, hold him up, keep hitting him, holding him up again, hitting him more, beating the brakes off of him. Okay. So, but anyway, some folks of the melanated variety were very upset with LeBron James for even suggesting that sometimes we do our own wrong. And again, I think LeBron was saying that, those black cops shouldn't have done that. That's my opinion. Because dang well that why they didn't think twice about what they were doing. Because I'm pretty sure that in America right now, any white officers damn sure would be thinking twice before they ever did anything like such thing. Unless they're just stupid, which there are some stupid officers out there. There's some officers that are dumb and they do stupid shit and probably shouldn't be police officers. But these brothers, did they think they had immunity because they were black? I don't know. This is crazy. And again, put these assholes under the jail. I don't care. But anyway, so lots of people were bitching at LeBron James, telling him that he's an idiot for saying we are our own worst enemy. And I'm thinking if those cops that were brothers, the melanated variety police officers thought they were going to get away with it because they're black, then LeBron might have a point. Then we are our own worst enemies. But the people on woke Twitter, black Twitter, weren't having it. Anyway, also Van Jones talked about this over the weekend, and he also said that the 5 black officers who beat black Memphian Tyre Nichols might have been motivated by racism. I don't know that these 5 black officers were motivated by racism. What? It don't make it make sense. Unfortunately, racism still exists in this world, and we see examples of it in the news and sometimes in real life every day. But also unfortunate is the need for political commentators and others prominent public figures to cry racism where none exists, as if every slight, perceived or real, experience by a person of color, the melanated variety, and every act of violence committed against a person of color happened because the person was black, Hispanic, etc. Predictably, we've seen that exact scenario play out in response to the Tyre Nichols case out of Memphis. Nichols, who was 29 years old, was pulled over at a traffic stop on January 7th. We know the details. He was hospitalized after his beating and he died 3 days later. Videos showing parts of what happened were released Friday. Nichols was black. All 5 now ex-officers who are now facing a host of charges, including second-degree murder, are black. You would think that after learning earlier this week that the officers involved were the same race as the victim, the usual suspects would find an avenue other than racism to travel down this particular case. But that is not what happened. Shortly before the video was released, CNN commentator and former Obama environmental advisor Van Jones, I have some respect for Van Jones. He helped Donald Trump with the prison reform stuff, and also Van Jones has a nonprofit organization that helps kids, inner city kids, learn to code, and I think it's a great program. But Van Jones is an interesting fellow. He's an interesting fellow. He penned a piece published on CNN's website which declared that the officers, quote, might still, end quote, be guilty of racism, even though they were black and Nichols was black. This the title of the article, opinion piece, the police who killed Tyre Nichols were black, but they still might have been driven by racism. Make it make sense. In the piece, he suggests, incredibly, that at the end of the day, which is my least favorite phrase in the world right now. I get so tired of hearing people say, well, at the end of the day, this, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, blah, 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 blah. No, just say what you're going to say. He says, at the end of the day, it is the race of the victim who is brutalized, not the race of the violent cop, that is most relevant in determining whether racial bias is a factor in police violence. Well, that's a little bit, is it? So you're saying that is racism because he's saying that the system, regardless of the color of the officers, is what beat Mr. Tyre Nichols. Further, Jones claims that black police officers can sometimes be influenced and conditioned by the behavior of their white colleagues, sometimes show towards black suspects and certain communities, and then react in a similar fashion when they are face to face with black suspects. You know, I am not so, maybe that slightly makes sense. Look, I think some black police officers who patrol the hood, so to speak, and I'm using that as a general, you know what I'm talking about, may have less tolerance for some shit than the white officers, because the black officers don't like what they see from within fellow melanated peoples, and might be harsher towards people of the same race because they want better out of people of the same race. Now, I don't know if I could classify that as racism. I don't know. It sounds weird. See, whenever you hear the word racism, you assume that they're talking about hatred or disdain for someone of a certain race. Well, if I'm a black officer and I live in a black neighborhood where I see crime everywhere, I might be a little, what's the word? Just more concerned about my community, especially if I live in that community, not wanting, I'm not going to beat someone to death like these assholes, but wanting better for people that look like you. I don't know. So he says black cops are often socialized in police departments that view certain neighborhoods as war zones. Well, gee, I wonder why they view certain neighborhoods as war zones. You mean the places where bullets are flying all the time? That sounds like a war zone. In those departments, few officers get disciplined for dishing out street justice in certain precincts, often populated by black, brown, and low-income people, where there's a tacit understanding that the rule book simply doesn't apply. Well, maybe. That's an interesting thought. Cops of all colors, including black officers, internalize those messages and sometimes act on them. In fact, in black neighborhoods, the phenomenon of brutal black cops singling out young black men for abuse is nothing new. Yeah, we saw it in, what's that? Was it Boys for the Hood, where the meanest officer was the black guy? And I think John Singleton wrote that for a reason. Jones made a similar argument during a segment on CNN Friday night where all involved, including supposedly objective host, supposedly objective host, agreed that when it came right down to it, rogue black cops could be just as racist towards black people as a rogue white cop could. Interesting. So they highlight the conversation here. How long is this?
5 black officers charged in the killing of an unarmed black man. Now, we often have conversations, Van, about the element of race and the racial dynamic in policing. But I think we all know quite well that when it comes to power, blue trumps black. The idea of the race of the person who is victimized, often more telling than the race of the aggressor. What is your reaction?
Yeah, I think it's really important
Okay,
because
so here's what we're talking about.
there's this very simplistic notion that says, well, so if a white cop is doing something to an unarmed black person, then that's racism. But
okay, I think too. Again, if this was if these were suburb cops in an area that there's not a lot of crime, not a lot of violence, do they react differently than they do in a high crime neighborhood? I don't know if they're in a high crime neighborhood. What area of Memphis this is, and I don't even know what areas of Memphis might be more susceptible to high crime than others. But if these were in the outskirts of Memphis, some Tony suburb, are they going to? Well, first of all, probably not going to be running from the cops out there. I don't know. Who knows? But it probably wouldn't happen. Violence often begets violence. But anyway,
we sometimes forget, unfortunately, African Americans can also be guilty of hatred and bias and bigotry against other African Americans. Sometimes you go into a store that's owned by an African American. They're nice to the white folks and suspicious of you. It's not that only one group can harbor anti-black bias. It's so pervasive, and so
I wonder if that's from experience. And it's obviously a stereotype, right? But if you're in an area and where if you're a black store owner and the people who steal from you happen to have a commonality, then you become suspicious of people who have that commonality. Is it fair? Well, no, but is it reality? Yes. So who knows? And for all you know, the store owner in that neighborhood probably getting robbed blind by white people more than black people because they watch the black people more. That could be. You just don't know. Anyway, what else does he say here?
The other thing that happens is certain neighborhoods are just considered almost by some police departments war zones. Anything goes over there. Just do what you have to do.
But why are they considered war zones? Not because of the demographic, but because of the fact that bullets are flying in that war zone. Okay? It's not because of racism that they consider those certain neighborhoods war zones. It's because of the bullets that are flying. It's because of the people who are dying. It's because of the carnage they see. So if they're considered war zones, they are probably have their guard up way higher in certain neighborhoods. And it's not because they're black people.
And so black officers can pick up on those kinds of cues, those kinds of signals when nobody gets in trouble for acting a certain way in this neighborhood versus in a white neighborhood. So race is an element here. I can't imagine any police officers delivering that kind of brutal beating to a white male U.S. citizen. Can you imagine if you had 5 black officers doing that? It's very hard to
and again, the never happens to white people. It does. I remember that kid in Arizona got shot while he was crawling on the floor. That was a white kid. Tony Tempo was a white dude, got choked out by the officers. But I don't know. The fewer encounters you have, the less likely you're going to be in trouble with the police, I guess. And it's unfortunate that we have more encounters with police too. So more opportunities for this kind of bullshit. And fuck those 5 officers. I'm sorry. I'm still going to say that over and over. Now I can swear in the show. So anyway, that's Van Jones' take. All right, let's get into the main topic because I want to get into that before I get too far down this road. Let's move these back to the end for odds and ends. Maxine Waters, oh no. And then I got an update on a couple stories too. I have an update on a story from from a few weeks ago. Hopefully I get to it. All right, let's move this out of here. I'll do that right after we talk about Eliza Bleu. So there's an update. So as we've been watching, Daniel Shavers. Yeah, that's the guy who was shot in the hallway crying for his life. Thank you, Hate Camel. Welcome to the show, by the way. So there was a lot of discussions about Eliza Bleu over the weekend. I mean, there were Twitter spaces, there were videos, there were live streams. A friend of the show, Fair and Balanced, she's doing a documentary about it, about who is Eliza Bleu. Because now, most of you probably may not have even heard of this person before Twitter started suspending people for talking about her or showing already posted videos about her or screenshots from videos from her, and people are getting suspended. Brittany Ventney, big account. The Quartering, big account. Yellow Flash over the weekend got their account suspended, and there's a couple others. Camelot 331. All these accounts with 300,000 or more subscribers getting their channels suspended because they posted some screenshot of a video of Eliza Bleu, okay, or other information about her. Now, the update to this is Ella Irwin. Now, Ella Irwin is the, it says trust advocate, problem solver, business and technology enthusiast. She's the new head of Twitter. What do they call it? Safety or whatever they call it at these stupid places. Trust and safety. So she put out this thread explaining why people over the weekend were getting suspended from Twitter. So let's just go through this thread real quick because there's a couple interesting things about it, and this is all related. This is highly related to Eliza Bleu. Now, the reason I say it's highly related for two reasons. One, I think it's referencing Eliza Bleu. Okay, it's almost clear that it is, but the other part is Eliza Bleu dropped this name last week, saying that she's grateful to Elon Musk and Ella Irwin for taking care of some things. Because, these videos, by the way, the World Star Hip Hop video on YouTube that she was in. Now, it's not the only one that Eliza Blue's in, but the World Star video that started the controversy has also been taken down from YouTube. I got a feeling there's going to be some legal issues coming up regarding this, because World Star Hip Hop made a statement that, one, they made the video, and that Eliza Bleu had a contract and she got paid for the video, plus the fact that Eliza Bleu there's a video of Eliza Bleu pretty much bragging that she made the video, and so it was clearly with consent, although now Eliza Bleu is saying that this was made without her consent, that they were using her image without her consent. Now, she didn't directly say World Star Hip Hop, but anyway. So then we get to this thread by Ella Irwin. In the past 2 weeks, we've suspended multiple accounts and or restricted content, causing confusion for users. See, what they're doing, it's not that what they're doing is sus, but that it causes confusion for users. Oh no, we're not confused, Ella. Sorry, we're not. I hate to break it to you. We're not confused. But let's see how you try to clear this up. Unfortunately, we can't answer questions or share details about specific users, like your friend Eliza, and accounts' actions. But here are some things that can lead to these types of actions. So she's going to try to explain why some of these accounts are suspended. Now, she's probably not only talking about Eliza Bleu, the people who talked about Eliza Bleu, but anyway. She says, first, we will suspend accounts for threats or incitements of violence. This includes, for example, declaring war on an individual or a group of people based on their race or religion, etc., and asking your followers to join you in this fight. Now, I'm not sure what the hell she was talking about there. Certainly not related to Eliza Bleu. But anyway, but she continues. We've had to suspend accounts, remove documentaries, videos, tweets, and photos recently when the proper reporting process was followed. We often disagree with our actions and don't have full context, but we still have to take action. Now, that is amazing. This sounds like a pre-Elon Musk. It sounds like a pre-Elon Musk action, not a post-Elon Musk action. Mr. I'm a free speech person. So what's interesting about that too, so as long as the reporting process was followed, they have to take action. Well, wait a minute. And again, they also say, okay, she says, these streets photos recently probably reported was followed. People often disagree with our actions and don't have full context. Well, in this case, there's a lot of context. She complained about something that was already out there that's been on the internet for 6 years, that someone posted a screenshot from the video of a full-length video that's been out there for years. Now she continues. These issues are complex and often resolved in court. We don't determine who in a legal criminal case is ultimately right or wrong, but we will continue to ensure we protect users, comply with local laws, and remove content required. Now, there is no lawsuit in this case as of yet, but Eliza Bleu has threatened to take legal action. Now, I don't know what kind of legal action she could take, since someone's just sharing stuff that's been out there for years, and that she clearly, she claims now that she claims that she didn't agree to have these images out there, but except for the fact that she had the video didn't make itself. Someone had to stand in front of the camera and dance around like she was. And it was clearly professionally made video. And now World Star Hip Hop has confirmed that she had a contract and got paid for it. So we know that she didn't, this didn't just some shit that someone stole out of her, homemade porn collection. Okay. This was a video that she made intentionally. And we have lots of proof of that. And we'll get to that. But the idea that these issues are complex and are often resolved in court. Oh my God, do I hope this goes to court, man. Discovery is going to be, first of all, Discovery is pretty much being done on the internet right now. Everyone can see what's going on and that she's full of crap, and that, that everything she did was something she did and wanted to do. And she's no stranger to telling her feelings on the internet. And boy, did she tell her feelings about this stuff already. Now, let me continue, because here comes the part that's really also interesting. We don't suspend users for posting reported content unless it is clear the user knew the content was illegal. Say what? So y'all are mind readers? Unless of course it was if it was a snuff film, I could see. But that's an interesting statement to make. We don't suspend users for posting reported content unless it is clear the user knew the content was illegal. But then the follow-up sentence is, we do ask for it to be removed before the account is resumed. So wait a minute. You're saying, you said we don't suspend users for posting reported content unless it's clear the user knew the content was illegal. Well, wait a minute. Then how do you resume an account that you're not suspending? You are suspending the account until the next sentence. We do ask for it to be removed before the account is resumed. What? And then soon, and now they don't do this right now, but this is something that I found out YouTube's going to start doing too on any kind of strikes. They're going to start actually telling you what you were struck for, because YouTube's not very good about that. Now they're going to give you timestamps and stuff like that, which I've been bitching about for 2 years now. She says, we soon will display the specific removal reason publicly. Now, I don't know if she's talking about in this specific case or not, but it's too many people have pointed out that this is a screenshot from a video she voluntarily made a contract and got paid for. The fact that she's claiming that it was someone's abusing her, that someone's, well, just another form of her being trafficked. Anyway, now, then she goes on, reports of non-consensual nudity, copyright violations, illegal content, etc. do not get processed by all platforms at exactly the same time. However, if properly filed, the content is normally moved from other platforms as well. So she's saying, well, these other platforms don't do the job that we do, but we know that if the content is in violation, it'll probably also be removed. Because again, somehow Eliza Bleu went in the back into YouTube and got them to take down the World Star Hip Hop video. Now there's all kinds of videos of her in like rap videos and shit on YouTube right now, and even the World Star Hip Hop videos all over the place. People have reposted it. People put it on Rumble. People put it on Odyssey. People put it on BitChute and whatever. So that shit ain't going away. And the fact that World Star has already made the statement that they did have a contract and did pay her proves beyond a shadow of doubt that she knew what she was making. And in fact, I would love for this to go to court, because I would love to see the discovery on this. Now, one thing that she's doing is she is intently playing a victim. And look, at this point, I'm not so concerned about Eliza Bleu. One of the things I hear over and over and over and over again is, well, she does such good work. And I don't have any evidence of her actually doing any good work, or not doing any good work for that matter. I know that she talks about herself being an advocate a lot, and she has some knowledge of that is advocacy specific. I don't know that there's any real evidence that some of the things she said she's done has happened, but she brings awareness to the scourge that is human trafficking, sex trafficking, right? But there's so many contradictions. So many contradictions. Now, I'm putting a couple threads in Twitter threads, or at least the beginning of some Twitter threads in the links at the end of the show. One is by Manuel DeFango. Okay, he's the one who got this started recently. But he's not, he's just one of many people who've been researching this, and just long threads on all the stuff, the evidence they have that maybe she's not 100% telling what she's really done, right? And then there's a thread from last year by someone called, oh shoot, what happened here? Someone called Sky Alicer, SXY Alice R something, okay? Who's was talking about this in 2021, 2 years ago, because of the fact that her online persona, biography as Eliza Bleu, doesn't match up with the fact that she's gone through several name changes and several iterations of who she is. And this new sudden in 2020 becoming this, human trafficking advocate doesn't necessarily line up with her timeline. Okay. But also over the weekend when she was doing these interviews talking about how she only got on Twitter in 2019, but then there's video from her in 2012 giving out her Twitter handle. There are Twitter handles with her from when she was Eliza Cuts and Eliza Knows. She has Twitter handles, a couple that haven't been closed yet, so she has other Twitter handles. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of look. If you really want to learn about this, I would suggest going on Fair and Balanced site. In fact, I'll put a link to the trailer to the documentary that she's working on. And notice she didn't allow any notes on her tweets. Yeah, I don't know about the notes, but nothing that posted about Bleu was illegal, yet suspension's about. Yeah, there's about 9 or 10 people that I know of that have been suspended because of this. And so, but here's the question I have, though. So when she first put out the tweet that kind of got this going, as far as, let's see, let me find it here. Maybe it's this one. Here it is. So this kind of started with her threatening people. Now, and by the way, she retweeted Ella Irwin's entire thread here. But when she said that she is only going to talk about this once. Okay, now she's been posting what she seems to think are wins ever since. She said that, let's see here. This should be right. Sorry about that. I didn't really have this one planned out. I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to address this one time and one time only. A non-consensual photo was posted of me yesterday on Twitter. Now, when she says non-consensual, again, we all know it was a screenshot from the World Star Hip Hop video that she intentionally made. She was there with a videographer, writhing all over the place in various stages of dress, and in fact, was very proud of this video that she made. She says the photos have been removed. The source of the photo has also been contacted. I'm preparing to escalate to the full extent of the law. Twitter did an outstanding job, so she's thanking Ella, not Elon Musk, but Ella. And they will be excluded from legal action. Oh, legal action. Oh, are you a lawyer? Or do you have a lawyer? Now, she says there won't be anyone else involved spared. Oh, she's got threats. I take things all the way and I have no chill. You might want to chill because I got some advice for you here. And she says, I'm a survivor advocate, and that doesn't stop with advocating for myself as a survivor. I'd encourage my enemies to study the law. I have been for many years. Well, why don't you have a law degree then? I'm just curious. Do you have a law degree? I don't know what you mean. It might stop you from making rookie mistakes in the future. So what's fascinating about this, when Brittany Ventney asked her the question about this video, and she got really heated, got Brittany Ventney suspended until she takes the video, the tweet down, got the quartering suspended until he takes the tweet down, got the Yellow Flash, got Camelot, and there are several others, got them taken down because of whatever they posted, and Ella's going out there as her friend, making sure all these things get taken down. These people get temporarily suspended until they take the stuff down. Clearly, this has instigated one of the greatest Streisand effects ever. Now, if you're not familiar with the Streisand effect, there was a point in time when Barbra Streisand had this beautiful Malibu home overlooking the ocean, and there were pictures on the internet of it, and so she was demanding some of these internet companies take the pictures down, and in the process kind of sort of doxed herself. And so then she was starting to get just helicopters and everything, just taking pictures of her home. Basically, it drew all this attention to her home, right? Well, that's what Eliza's done with this threat of legal action, and with people who are getting their Twitter, are getting, locked out of Twitter until they comply with the demands of whoever's demanding whatever. Yeah, she's the female Jack Murphy. So here's my contention, or not contention, just my hypothesis. Had she never made a big deal about Brittany Ventney's question and just answered it, just said, yeah, you know what? I did make some, I made videos with World Star Hip Hop back in the day, trying to, I was trying to make some money, and that's how I did it. Because I was a model and did this and this and that. Okay. 'Cause she did some modeling back in the day. She's done a lot of things. Had she done that, would there be this just amount of digging into her past? Could she have, even with, and even if there was, oh, hi, Next Gen Troll, by the way, and the One Who, if she had just done that and said, you know what, to Brittany, yep, that's me. I did some videos and modeling back in the day after I got out of the trafficking situation. And now my focus is on helping people, get out of bad situations. Do you think anyone would have cared? Do you think anybody would have held that against her? That, yes, she appeared in some music videos back in the day. I don't think it would have. I think she'd have been just fine and going on. But now, because look, I think even now there is a minor possibility that she could find her way out of this criticism by just apologizing to people and saying, yeah, that was my past, part of my past. But here, the thing is, though, now people are digging in so deep that they're finding out that maybe her trafficking situation was just the fact that she might have just been a prostitute. And maybe not forced into it, but did it to survive. Because she's made, now again, I'm not going to go, there's so much video and stuff. You guys, I'll link to Fair and Balanced channel so you can watch the documentary when she comes out. Because she's has 4 or 5 different researchers just going through all this stuff, and they're going to put it in one neat little package, much better than I can do on this short time that I have. But I think she very well could have just gone back to her advocacy, and what she's trying to do anyway. But now she's getting entangled in some legal issues. I think World Star Hip Hop's not thrilled with her. The statement they made, making it clear that they had a contract and she was paid, so that she might be in breach of that contract. Also, the idea that she basically claims that it was non-consensual. And so she's had not only the photos, screenshots from it taken down, but also the video itself taken down from YouTube. It's going to be real interesting. If they get in a legal battle, Discovery's going to be a bitch. I'm just saying. Anyway, Blue-Eyed Scream, what's up? Is she going to pee on someone to show her dominance? I don't know about that. Sometimes I'm more comfortable with the lies of being pleasured on the front lawn as opposed to Jack Murphy. Okay, that's good. And hello, Tex AG. So anyway, there's several links, and the threads are all going to be in here. If you really want to dig deep into that, you can. But I think she blew it. No pun intended. Although the pun in the Blue's Clueless, there was a pun intended there. But this, and I named it as an unforced error because this is absolutely an unforced error on her part. Because now everybody is kind of going in on her, and there's people who are former trafficking victims. I was in one of those Twitter spaces yesterday. And there's people who are former, victims of the type of trafficking that she's supposedly advocating for, that want her out of the whole, out of the whole advocacy thing altogether. They don't trust her. They just see her as a grifter. And so I would love to look. She brings a lot of attention, at least in the internet. She brings a lot of attention to that issue that is valuable, but But now she certainly can't use social media to advocate for that as much. And I think people in that line of advocacy cannot help but start having doubts about her. So somehow she needs to clean this up, and I don't know how she's going to do it. But first would be just saying yes, all is true, because it's everything everyone's finding out. They're documenting with old videos, old MySpace pages, old articles, old tweets, old relationships we had with people. There's the receipts are internet era, where they're really, really hard to. Well, they're video and photo and written evidence that you put out there years ago in every one of your different personas. Eliza Cuts, Eliza Sipe, Eliza Knows, Eliza Bleu, Eliza Moreland. And coming clean might allow you to continue your advocacy. But the way you're doing it now is only going to continue to get worse. No matter how many people get nicked on Twitter, or, how many people you complain about on YouTube, it just grows. The Streisand effect grows and grows and grows. Clean it up, woman, if you ever see this. All right, let's do an update. I'm going to move on. Moving up, there's an update. Now, this is interesting. Remember the hockey player for the Philadelphia Flyers did not want to wear the Pride Day jerseys. And so he just sat out warm-ups and then played in the game later. Didn't make a big deal out of it. But boy, oh boy, did the people notice he wasn't there, and they gave him hell for not wearing the Pride jersey, and some people wanted him suspended for the league. Some people wanted the Philadelphia Flyers fined $1 million. Some people wanted him just completely fired and put under, in a rock pile in some Siberian cave prison, something. And, or wanted him to go, one of the best ones was like, well, if you're not going to wear the Pride jersey in America, maybe you should go back to Russia and go volunteer for the war in Ukraine. They want him dead for not doing it. Well, now there might be he might have some company. Heresy, more dissidents from the left's religion appear in the NHL. Uh-oh. In PJ Media, the left professes to cherish diversity, but the diversity it has in mind is one of people of all races, genders, all 72 of them, and cultures saying and doing and thinking the same things. It most emphatically does not involve any diversity of thought or disagreement from the leftist line on anything, but genuine diversity is breaking out in, of all places, the National Hockey League, the widest league in American sports. There's a couple brothers who play hockey. As an increasing number of players are daring to express thoughts different from those that our self-anointed moral superiors wish them to think. It's glorious to behold. But how long will it last before league officials bring the hammer down is anyone's guess. So ESPN reported, no doubt, amid loud expressions of rage and disgust among its editors, that the NHL's New York Rangers, New York, get a rope, did not wear Pride jerseys or use rainbow stick tape during warm-ups on Friday night, despite promoting them in ticket sales materials leading up to the game. Horror of horrors! The Rangers, those wicked heretics, promoted Pride Night to fans by saying players, quote, will be showing their support by donning Pride-themed warm-up jerseys and tape in solidarity with those who continue to advocate for inclusivity. Well, there must not be enough gay brothers on the Rangers because no such expression of solidarity ensued. Instead, the team opted to show solidarity with those who love freedom and wore their Liberty Head jersey in warm-ups. Excuse me. Hello, Legit Low Talker. This intolerable expression of dissent from the Rangers is something new. The team has always been compliant in the past. In previous seasons, ESPN noted in a sentence that was a masterpiece of subtle emotional manipulation, quote, Ranger players had Pride-themed jerseys and sticks that were auctioned off after the game for charity, but this year the recipients of the charity were left staring plaintively at the locked door of the Rangers clubhouse. There would be no rainbow sticks or gay jerseys for them. Oh, for the love of all that is decent, won't you think of the children? What's more, if it isn't as if the charities in question were really stiffed. ESPN notes that the Rangers' 7th annual Pride Night was celebrated throughout the game in other ways. Fans were given a Pride-themed fanny pack. Oh my God. No one thought what they were writing when they wrote that sentence. Oh my God. Oh no, they did not write that sentence. Oh my God. Fans were given a Pride-themed fanny pack as a giveaway. Oh my God. Please don't pack my fanny. Oh, that's so wrong. I feel really awful for even going there. That's really wrong. Sorry. My gay friends you can shoot me later. Anyway, the exterior and interior lights at Madison Square Garden were illuminated in rainbow colors. The Rangers also made a charitable donation to the Ali Forney Center on Pride Night, the largest agency dedicated to LGBTQ plus homeless youths in the country. So everyone should be happy. No, the left can't tolerate even the smallest expression of dissent. The Rangers were likely emboldened to take this unacceptable stand by the notorious Ivan Provorov, the Philadelphia Flyers defenseman who refused less than 2 weeks ago to don the Flyers' Rainbow Pride Night warm-up jersey, citing his Russian Orthodox beliefs. Flyers coach John Tortorella said that Provorov was being true to himself and to his religion, but of course his act has sparked furious controversy. It is perfectly all right and even expected that gay people will be proud of being gay and that everyone who isn't gay will join them in expressing this pride. It is outside the bounds of acceptable behavior, however, for a Christian to stand on his Christian beliefs, and if he dares to do so anyway, he shouldn't expect that anyone will stand with him. Now, after the players demonstrated their heresy, the Rangers were anxious to reaffirm their adherence to leftist orthodoxy, saying in a statement, quote, "Our organization respects the LGBTQ plus community, and we are proud to bring attention to important local community organizations as a part of another great Pride Night." But then how to explain the players' effrontery and dissonance? In keeping with our organization's core values, we support everyone's individual right to respectfully express their beliefs. Oh, well, that is not acceptable. You must celebrate Pride Night. I just don't get it. Now, look, if one of the brothers on the New York Rangers, if they had a gay teammate and they wanted to say, we support our fellow teammate in his life and his love and whatever he loves and who you love and love who you love, and we will wear the Pride jersey to honor our teammate. Okay, fine. But then if they say, you know what, there's no one gay on this team, let's just go warm up in our regular jerseys so we don't have to change during the between warm-ups and the game, because it's a pain in the ass to have to change jerseys in between and whatever. And they said, no, not doing it. Anyway, is that going to fly? Probably not. Wokeness is a strict religion that demands full obedience from those who adhere to it and those who do not. If the Flyers had Russian Orthodox night in honor of Ivan Provorov and announced that every player, regardless of his own religion, would be wearing jerseys featuring the Russian Orthodox 3-bar cross, the woke would be enraged and energetically exercising everyone's individual right to respectfully express their beliefs. What? Anyway, but dissent from Pride Night? Oh, hell no. Provorov alone was bad enough, and now it's an entire team. The NHL is enthusiastically leftist, and this is getting out of hand. The league is unlikely to allow this to go any further. Well, people were suggesting that the Flyers get fined $1 million for Provorov not skating. I wonder if anyone's going to suggest $1 million per player for the Rangers. Who knows? The Rangers, if they get fined, that's going to be really interesting. Really interesting. All right, so there's that update. Now I got to get cracking here. What else did I have up here today? Oh, so there was a hit piece in the New York Times about John Durham's investigation into the Russia thing, the actual investigation into the investigation, right? And the New York Times did a bit of a hit job on them. Well, let's see. Oh, did I keep these in order? I probably didn't. Nope, I didn't. Well, I don't know what I did with it. Where's that New York Times article? Oh, it's over here. I moved this over too far. Anyway, the Federalist has a article, 6 reasons why the New York Times preemptive strike is 1 part chutzpah and 2 parts mendacity. So Margot Cleveland goes through 6 reasons why the New York Times article. I got both articles linked. I'll put them right next to each other so you can find them. In the Daily Caller, apparently there's a pro-prostitution bill in California. Shocker. Guess who wrote it? Scott Wiener. Shocker. But they say it might worsen human trafficking, advocates say, but one argues it may also be part of the solution. Some saying that when you have, you treat sex workers as people who are doing their own thing, then they can be more free and yada, yada, yada. Some people saying, no, you're just encouraging more sex trafficking. I'm curious what Eliza Bleu thinks about this. Anyway, in California, let's see. This is the bill that eventually passed. Oh, this was prohibiting police from using condoms as evidence when investigating crimes involving prostitutions. In 2020, you got another bill passed that allowed minors to consent to sodomy with other minors. In 2022, Governor Gavin Newsom signed a law into Wiener's Senate Bill 357 that decriminalized loitering for the purpose of prostitution. So, this is we talked about this a couple weeks ago, but anyway, you can read that one. In Minnesota, there's some new parents who've been elected to the school board in the I want to say the Sartell St. Stephen's School Board, and during a meeting, one of the school board members was asking, hey, there's this new book in the library that can be checked out by students that teaches or talks very explicitly about how to give a blowjob. And we're wondering, why is this book in our library? And so it's very, very, it's humorous, and yet you go, whoa, this book's actually in their library. If you want to watch that, the Libs of TikTok video scan or whatever is within the article. But it's one of the reasons you want new people on school boards is so they can catch shit like this, and good for this school board member for bringing it to their attention. Although the reading of the section of the book which she was talking about in this video, well, you'd be blushing if you were in the company of your grandma or mom or or your kids. So make sure if you listen to it, make sure you have headphones on because, well, first of all, some of you might start one of these. And others might just go, what the fuck is this doing in a school? So anyway, that's in the Axios article there. All right. There's a whole bunch more, but I don't even have time to tell you what's in them. If you want to check out the tabs today, there's a whole bunch of them. I'll just give you the headlines. Are the walls closing in on Joe Biden? New details raise questions. That's more happening with the classified document scandal. In CNS News, John Kirby defends the administration's refusal to let senators see Biden's mishandled documents. Apparently, they're stonewalling the committees in the Senate. Both Republicans and Democrats are complaining that the administration is refusing to let people see, the ones who have security clearance, even see the documents that were found in Biden's garage and office and back room and socks and in Jill Biden's underwear drawer and wherever else they keep finding these documents. Also, Obama's Secretary of Defense is slamming Biden over the classified documents scandal and his handling of the Ukraine war. So he's getting a double whammy by someone from Obama's Secretary of Defense, Robert Gates. In Legal Insurrection, there's an article about BuzzFeed stocks soaring on new plans for AI to create content. So you know how BuzzFeed was firing a whole bunch of their journalists? Well, now they're thinking about using AI to write their stories. So this is going to be, they're going to rely on ChatGPT to write stories for BuzzFeed, basically cutting out their so-called journalists. Fascinating. In the Daily Wire, CNN grills Adam Schiff over false impeachment claims. In fact, that turned out not to be true. Dana Bash, amazingly, well, here, let's watch one of these.
You said that there was direct evidence of the fact that Donald Trump colluded with Russia back in 2016. Special counsel Robert Mueller said in his report, quote, the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. Republicans argue that's proof that you used your position on the intelligence committee to...
This is where they notice the three who were up there. It's Eric Swalwell, Adam Schiff, and Ilhan Omar. Dana Bash is going to ask him a question that I would never have expected her to ask. You lied.
Intentionally mislead Americans, which is why you should not be on that committee.
If you read the Mueller report, he makes clear, even in the first few pages of the report, that he states no conclusion on whether Donald Trump and his campaign colluded with the Russians. But what he does reveal in his report, what we found in our investigation, is that Donald Trump's campaign manager was sharing internal campaign polling data and their strategy for key battleground states with an agent of Russian intelligence, while that same unit of Russian intelligence was helping the Trump campaign.
That's not what she asked.
Let me give you another. He says that this is part of a pattern. Ahead of the first Trump impeachment, you said the committee had not spoken to a whistleblower. In fact, that turned out not to be true.
Not to be true.
Post, said so in their fact check.
The Washington Post identified that, yes,
that
before
you lied.
the person became a whistleblower, they sought advice from the committee.
That you lied.
When I was asked the question, I thought they were referring to whether we had brought the whistleblower in.
I didn't understand the question.
And I should have been more clear in my answer.
You should have not lied. That's the truth. Anyway, he lied. Fuck him. In the Washington Free Beacon, Soros funded a fake news operation that pushes Facebook to reinstate Trump ban. A progressive billionaire-funded network of Democratic propaganda sites masquerading as legitimate news websites is leading the push to keep former President Donald Trump off of Facebook. They don't want his voice out there at all. And so they made this fake news organization basically lobbying Facebook to keep Donald Trump banned permanently. Stay tuned on that one. In Daily Caller, Utah bans home run and gender therapy surgeries for minors. Hey, another state doing the right thing. Bill SB 0016 was sponsored by Republican State Senator Michael Kennedy in December, who argued that current gender-affirming procedures lack sufficient research, calling the nationwide push to enter this version of healthcare radical and dangerous. He's spot on. We're seeing plenty of evidence of that. The article's there. Pfizer officials released an official response to Project Veritas. Allegations have recently been made related to gain-of-function and directed evolution research at Pfizer, and the company would like to set the record straight. In the ongoing development of the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine, Pfizer has not conducted gain-of-function or directed evolution research. Working with collaborators, we have conducted research where the original SARS-CoV-2 virus has been used to express the spike proteins from new variants of concern. This work is undertaken once a new variant of concern has been identified by the public health authorities. This research provides a way for us to rapidly assess the ability of an existing vaccine to induce antibodies that neutralize a newly identified variant of concern. When we then make this data available through peer-reviewed research, peer-reviewed scientific journals, whatever, peer-reviewed means nothing in this case, and use it as one of the steps to determine whether a vaccine update is required. You can read the whole thing and draw your own conclusions. I don't know if they're saying anything different than their guy sitting with the honeypot did. So anyway. In human events, federal judge strike down California punitive COVID misinformation law. So they were going to say that they try to pass a law in California that if you could be arrested or jailed or fined for giving COVID misinformation. So even if you're a doctor and you have a second opinion that doesn't follow the standard orthodoxy, you could be arrested, fined, whatever. Well, a judge struck that law down. Good job, Mr. Judge. In Washington Free Beacon, Gavin Newsom's wife has been raking in cash by charging California public schools to screen her movies. For Disciples, Newsom's nonprofit shares a number of donors with her husband. First partner, Jennifer Swibel Newsom, has raised nearly $1.5 million in film licenses and nearly $1.7 million from sales since 2012, according to the watchdog group Open the Books. Her nonprofit, the Representation Project, charges schools an average of $270 to license documentaries like The Great American Lie, which says sexism causes economic inequality, and Fair Play, about women who want to do less housework. While this group does not specify how much it's earned from schools, Open the Books say it could easily account for nearly all her $1.5 million in streaming revenue. So she charged all this. Apparently, this is something that goes into the schools in California, and it's made by the governor's wife. Gee, there's no conflict of interest there. In the Daily Wire, Trump hits New Hampshire and South Carolina in his first 24 campaign events. I think they have some video. No, they don't. There's video online of him talking at these events, starting to put out new plans. Some of it, he's talking a lot about the border. He's talking a lot about the government and big tech collusion, censorship. You can check out his speeches. Usually you can find those on Rumble. And in fact, here it is in today's caller. We know what Trump's wall for 24 is. The loudest applause lines during Trump's speech in New Hampshire so far were for fighting culture war issues, especially his plan to eliminate federal funding for any school that pushes critical race theory or the left-wing gender ideology, and direct election of school principals by the parents. And then, so that's part of his education policy plan. And then also well, he's talking about a lot of the themes from 2016, unfinished work. Let's put it that way. Let's see. And then there's, in PJ Media, transmedicalism and the fracturing LGBTQ plus community. There's debates within the LGBTQ plus and LMNOP community, about some of the things that are happening. A lot of people in the gay community are not happy with the T people, who are doing medicalizing kids, and just the conflict or the erasure of homosexuality in some cases, because if you mention homosexuality to T, people say that homosexuality is transphobic. If you define it in a way that's not inclusive of people of the opposite sex, but same gender, their terminology, not mine, it's transphobic. So it's a pretty good article. You can read that one. Oh, and also the idea, some non-binary people, some people call non-binary people trans and some don't. There's a big fight about that too. So they're just eating their own, no pun intended whatsoever, ew. And then finally in Hollywood and Toto, there's a masculinity crisis, the death of the Hollywood hero, talking about how we're losing our straight white male masculine heroes. Well, not necessarily white because, but anyway, talking about how audiences craving alpha males, but the studios are giving us some other crap. They keep giving us, I always laugh when they give us these women like for example, let's take the television version of The Equalizer with Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah as the Equalizer, right? Does it really make sense to you that Queen Latifah can beat up everybody just because she's a heavyset woman? It doesn't make any sense at all. First of all, most people that she would try to beat up probably could just run in a circle and just wear her out. And number two, she's still about a 5'5" woman and beating up on all these big old men. I don't believe it. It's not convincing. It's very unlikely. It is really weird, and I don't buy it. I think most average men who have any capacity for fighting could probably beat up most women MMA fighters. I'm just saying. There's just a size and strength difference that you just can't overcome. And so it's really, really weird. And I get tired of seeing it, and it gets to the point where I just laugh at it. It's kind of like the thing about not seeing white people in commercials anymore. White people are a dying breed when it comes to commercials, and it's just weird as a black person to see no white people in commercials. There's a lot of white people I see every day, and I don't see them in the commercials. And like, where are the white people? There's straight white competent people in commercials, because if there's a white guy in a commercial, usually he's a goofy motherfucker. He's doing something stupid shit. And you know what? I got some white friends and none of them are like that. So, you know what I mean? So they just need to stop. Anyway, real quick before I go, I got a couple thank yous. Thank you, Scribe Light, and who else here? Oh, is this Brody? Brody retweeted the show today. Are you here, Brody? I see you retweeted the show. I appreciate it. Also, Tyler's in the house, retweeted the show. Jimmy Das Hotep tweeted out the show. Somnambul Nation. I appreciate every single one of you who helped the show out. Another way you can help out the show, hit the like button before you go. That always helps. And if you could also kindly share the stream, sponsor the show at pdognight.live or super chats during the show. pdognight.live 24 hours, including during the show, gets you a message on the show, or Venmo, Cash App in the description down below if you're watching a replay. Let me know what you think about the Eliza Bleu situation. I'm just curious. And I was trying to think of puns all day, trying to figure out what I could use for a pun, and I came up with the Blues Clueless, but there's always the old Andrew Dice Clay joke, Eliza Bleu, she needed the money. But that was, that one's been used over and over. I gotta go. Hey, thank you for being here. I gotta go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.